There is one reality that follows every human being wherever they go: death. It is neither a threat nor a mystery. It is simply certain. Every soul shall taste death. A short sentence that shatters every illusion of immortality we often build around life in this world. Human beings move from one phase to another as if this world were a permanent home. Yet life itself is described as fragile, temporary, and filled with mirages. The life of this world is nothing but a deceiving enjoyment. Everything we chase, defend, and cling to eventually stops at the boundary of life itself. And once that boundary is crossed, the journey does not end, there is a continuation that cannot be refused. In the quiet of reflection, then indeed, you will surely be resurrected on the day of resurrection. A day when humans rise again, not as owners of wealth, status, or names, but as beings stripped of all worldly attributes. At that point, a difficult question begins to surface. What truly remains from a life already lived? What accompanies a person when their body is left behind in the earth? Time moves, but every second seems to record something, not objects, not possessions, but things far more abstract: deeds, intentions, moral choices, how we treated others, how we guarded our hearts, how we gave meaning to our lives. All of it stays, none of it is buried. And let every soul look to what it has sent forth for tomorrow. A reminder that life always moves towards something greater than itself. Death, with all its certainty, quiets the noise of the world. When one truly thinks about it, many things that once felt important suddenly lose their weight. Ambition fades, praise loses its shine, conflicts look small. What remains is the awareness that humans are not settlers, they are travelers. Through all this journeying, one truth slowly becomes clear: the world does not allow us to carry much. What follows us is only what cannot be photographed, cannot be judged by others, and cannot be compared: moral footprints, sincerity, and actions. And in the end, death is not merely a closure. It is a doorway leading to a chapter promised from the beginning, a life restored, a day of resurrection, and the reckoning of all that was left behind. There is something often unseen but always working behind each human step: recording. Not by humans, not by technology, but by something far more subtle: records that never sleep. A verse that makes life feel different, as if every second has a witness, every whisper its own echo. Humans forget what they once did. Time erases memory, distance blurs detail, but that record never loses a single point. There is a sentence that feels like an unavoidable mirror: not a word does he utter except that with him is an observer ready to record. In the rush of life, this is like a soft voice reminding us that nothing truly slips away. Goodness, even the smallest, unseen act, does not vanish. Wrongdoings, even the hidden ones, do not disappear. Everything is gathered, sorted, stored. In this world, humans can still hide their mistakes. Status can influence judgment, words can shape perception. But elsewhere, on the promised day of recompense, the record speaks for itself. That moment often makes people reflect. That day, man will be informed of what he sent forward and what he left behind. There is no room for new narratives, no alternate versions, only what truly happened. The thought of that day feels quiet, not because it is empty, but because everything is exposed. What was once trivial suddenly shows its weight. Every deed once mocked, bragged about, or hidden finds its place in that record. The book leaves nothing small or great except that it has recorded it. A perfect record, without gaps, without pauses. A record that brings a human face to face with the most honest version of themselves. The day of recompense is not merely a concept, it is the certainty that life does not move without direction. There is structure, consequence, and balance. And when that record is opened, humans no longer ask why something happened to them. They know, they see, they remember what they once cast into the world, and what returned to them. In such awareness, the world feels quieter. Every action gains an echo, every decision casts a shadow. And humans realize that life is not an empty space where things simply pass. Every step, every choice, every intention already has its place. Not lost, not forgotten, simply waiting to be read. A day when humans no longer look outward, but finally look fully at themselves. There are moments in life when the world suddenly feels foreign. Home, work, routines, they remain, yet seem stripped of meaning. And in that silence arises a question with no simple answer. What is a human truly living for? This question is not new. It has followed humanity since the beginning of time. And each time it appears, it brings a shadow. Perhaps our entire life is a long journey we never fully understand. If pondered calmly, it will open a vast room, revealing that life is not about what we chase, but about what lies behind it all. Humans often feel like the center of the world. They run after ambitions, gather experiences, build images, try to outrun time. But when night comes and silence settles, something inside whispers, "What is all this for?" Human frailty is undeniable. We are born without asking, live with countless plans, and leave one day without delay. It is not an accusation. It is a mirror, forcing humans to see themselves without disguise. If life is not meaningless, then something awaits within it. Something unseen, untouchable, yet always felt. Sometimes purpose is not something humans choose. It is like a shadow, always following, never grasped. It appears in unease, in silence, in a hollowness that words cannot explain. Perhaps purpose is not in achievement, not in results, not in visible marks. Perhaps it is hidden deeper, in the quietest layer of the heart, in the inner room untouched by others. Humans often search for meaning outside themselves, in noise, in movement. Yet sometimes meaning waits in stillness, in the awareness that life is not about how long one walks, but where the steps are truly pointing. Indeed, to your Lord is the final return. If one follows this trail, life's purpose is not a line we draw, but a point of return set from the beginning. Understanding this does not make life easier. Often it makes it heavier, because humans must face the truth. What they build can collapse, their identities and achievements were never fully theirs. In all this, introspection arises not as a choice but as a consequence. A person looks at their life and realizes, much was lost, much was wrong, much remains unclear. And perhaps, it is precisely at that point that purpose begins to reveal itself. Not as an answer, but as awareness, that life always moves towards something greater than the world, wider than ambition, deeper than fear, and quieter than anything spoken. In the end, humans do not always find meaning, but they keep searching, and perhaps, that search is what makes life meaningful.